Well, a Greater Victoria man has become a canine campaigner, hoping he can convince BC Transit to allow dogs on buses. So sharing your seat with a sheepdog is a controversial idea, but it works in some other cities. Bruce Kirkpatrick explores whether it can work here on Vancouver Island.
Would you mind sharing this space with a Rottweiler or Pekingese?
I think it's pretty awful that they will allow ordinary dogs to ride on the buses so people can go to the veterinarian and go to the parks and take them to friends' places.
This 61-year-old Esquimalt resident has two friends he walks every day. He'd like to take Misty and Muffy here to an off-leash area of Beacon Hill Park, but he can't take his dogs on city buses.
There is quite a problem of seniors and non-seniors alike that don't have cars that have to pay for a taxi cab, and that adds to the cost of the veterinarian bill.
Ganton has traveled the world and taken note of where dogs on buses are allowed. Toronto and London, for example, off rush hours. Back at the park.
I don't think it's a bad thing as long as the dog's under control.
I mean, I used to live in the UK, and like dogs could come in the pubs and everything, and they were never a problem.
At the bus stop, some people are cautious. Do dogs and buses mix?
I often thought about wearing dark glasses and carrying a white cane so I could take my dog with me on the bus.
When I take a bus to school, it's always completely packed. So I don't think dogs should come.
If you want to know about Misty and Muffy's behavior, ask a neighbor.
They're very well-behaved dogs.
Yeah,
no problems with them running around out of control or anything. Yeah.
Would you take your dog on the bus if you could?
I wish I could. Yeah, I definitely would.
BC Transit points out they do carry pets as long as they're in crates, which would be fine for Misty and Muffy in cages, but otherwise...
We are just saying no at this time. For safety, for liability purposes, it's not a reality for BC Transit. I can tell you personally, I'm afraid of large dogs. It would make me very uncomfortable on a bus to have a dog that was off leash and not inside of a cage.
She has to go to the vet and quite often has difficulty because she doesn't have a car.
Right, that's what I mean. If they're on the transit, it would be no problem.
Meanwhile, canine campaigner Robert Ganton stands in the rain outside a pet store in Saanich, soliciting signatures on a petition asking BC Transit to allow dogs on buses. He may have to campaign for a while.